So, it has happened. It has happened. The Indiana Fever have clinched their playoff spot. They obviously have not clinched the 7th seed. They have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since Tamika Catchings was on this team in 2016. Yeah. You know, you want to know, back then, a young Mick Curley was starting off his NBA 2K16 channel, and at 19 years old. That's how long ago that was. That is how long ago that was. And if you guys think this is crazy as well, subscribe. We're trying to hit 32,000 by the end of the day. We could do it. I could wake up to 32K. That'd be unbelievable. But as you guys can see, it is their first playoff performance or playoff appearance in years. Like, if you have not seen here as well, this was their team's goals to start the year. Playoffs. And you had no mercy from Temi. Saxton being the greatest teammate. I mean, she's not wrong. Like, I don't know why she's been kept on this team, especially when Celeste Taylor's freaking starting for Phoenix. But look, it is what it is. And yeah, so Christy Wallace make playoffs. Caitlyn Clark, of course, smile, as she's refused to smile in that picture, which is just Caitlyn Clark being Caitlyn Clark, I guess. But yeah, so we have got right here all of these players, what they were saying, and we're now looking at a team that is playoff bound. We've positioned ourselves exactly where we want to be, heading back to the playoffs. And again, good players on this team, a lot of really good players like Kelsey Mitchell hooping. Nalissa Smith stepped up big time the last couple of games. Aaliyah Boston's been great all year, but it all it starts and ends with the person who didn't even say their goal was to make the playoffs. The person who said their goal was to smile. Because I would be very confident if you asked Caitlyn Clark what your goals were for the season. She would probably say win it all. Win the chip. I'd be shocked. And I mean that. I would be shocked. That was not Caitlyn's goal. If you were to ask her what her goals would be for the season, winning it all would be the thing. She's definitely not happy with making the playoffs. The rest of them are. Erica Wheeler wasn't on a very good Atlanta Dream team, I don't think, before this. Aaliyah Boston did not make the playoffs. They won 13 games last year. They won 13 games. They've won 17 with 7 games to go. And all 7 are winnable games. I mean, like, look, the fact is that you wouldn't have said the Aces was a winnable game to start the year, but the way the Indiana Fever are playing right now, they could probably sweep 7. I don't think they're going to. If they go 5-2, it's been a great end of the year. If they go 4-3, it's been solid. If they go 3-4, you're a bit worried for the playoffs. If they go 2-5, obviously you're very worried. But like, still, that 6 and 7 position doesn't really matter too much when it comes to the playoffs in the W though, because the 2-3 are interchanging. So if 6-7 are interchanging, it doesn't really matter, because you're seeing right here at the Mercury, who have made the playoffs as well and are now 17 and 17. There's only a half game difference. However, there is really a 1 game difference because Indiana own the tiebreaker in that one because they swept the Mercury. So you've got obviously the Fever sweeping the Mercury. Tash Cloud's gonna be back the next game for Phoenix, but like Fever's next game is against the Sparks. So there's no way, right? There's no way they lose to the Sparks, right? But yeah, they are very, very comfortable in there with Chicago Sky and the Atlanta Dream losing. And not only that, like, they're guaranteed 7th. They can't face the Liberty, which is big. Which is really, really, really big. But again, if you are the Fever, you are hoping that the Connecticut Sun drop in the 3rd. I think the Sun are beatable. I'm not sure if the Lynx are. I think the Sun are very, very beatable for the Fever. I think they might. They just might go all the way, you know. They just might. I don't know why I'm talking myself into Indiana going all the way. I'm talking myself more and more into that. Like, I'm turning into Dave Portnoy. Like, I'm literally having some of my friends that, like, barely know that I do this being like, so, So what chances do you give Indiana? And I'm like, looking at the message being like, I am not going to give you an answer because you are going to bet based on my predictions. And I'm way too high on this team. But, yeah, this Fever team is looking good. They're looking good and they're peaking at the right time. And that's the whole thing when it comes to playoffs. It's about peaking at the right time. They are well and truly peaking at the right time. If they can end the year on, let's just say, 22 wins. 22 wins is perfect. If they can end the year on 22 wins, you're cruising. You're absolutely cruising with that. Because all you need to do then is step up, what? Step up 5 games from next year, and suddenly you're one of the best teams in the W. And obviously, they're one position off winning those 5 games. Like, I would push again for Natasha Howard, for Nneka Nwumeke, because as much as people want to say, oh, everyone wants out of the Fever, like, I can't remember, was it Rebecca Lobo being like, who the hell would, no one's going to complain about having millions of eyes watching every single one of your games and playing in packed out arenas that are cheering for you every single time, every single place, and getting the highest All-Star votes. Let's not forget, Katie Lou Samuelson got more All-Star votes than than Kayla McBride. I'm pretty sure Christy Wallace had more. Lexi Hull had more All-Star votes than Kayla McBride, and Lexi Hull was getting DNPs back then. Like, it is one of those things. But congratulations to Indiana, though. Making the playoffs is not easy. It's really not, especially when you start 1-8. When you start 1-8, you are in dead last place. The hardest thing to do is win a game, let alone go on a run to make the playoffs with 7 games to go. 7 games into the season, they were 1-6. They're 1-6, and their only win was against the Sparks. If anyone had told you that with 7 games to go, they'd be guaranteed in the playoffs, you would have said they were crazy. You would have said that person was crazy. But again, we're looking at a situation where 13 wins probably gets you in the playoffs this year, though. So it is one of those, like last year was 18 wins. We're looking at a situation where 13 is probably going to make the playoffs. So it's a bit of a different year. Those teams at the bottom, like the Dream, who won 3 games in a row, haven't won other than that since. Actually, no, they beat Sparks. They've only won 1 game other than the 3 in a row since the Olympic break. The Sky are in free fall, and the Mystics and the Wings started off on 6 wins before the playoffs. So yeah, it is a tricky one. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. Shout out to the Indiana Fever. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.